Today's episode is brought to you by SeatGeek. Get $20 off your first order when you use my code Nash. Guys, great show for you today. Heidi and Marc D'Amelio, stop by. Go check out their show. The D'Amelios on Hulu. Also, this weekend, Saturday, I'll be in Nashville at Zany's Comedy Club. And Sunday, I'll be in Louisville, Kentucky at Laugh Louisville. Come see me live if you live in Nashville or Louisville. Also, I'll be in Dayton, Ohio, November 4th. November 5th, I'll be in Liberty Township, Ohio. Big show, November 12th in Irvine, California. That one is almost sold out. November 19th, I'll be in San Jose. And December 10th, I'll be in Oxnard, California, rounding out my tour for the year. Come see me do stand-up. All right, enjoy today's episode with the D'Amelios. Guys, welcome back to the All Good Things podcast. Today, Heidi and Marc D'Amelio here. What an honor. Royalty of TikTok and YouTube and now Hulu. Naveen and I watched 6 episodes of season 3 last night of the D'Amelio show.
We went through them, and we're both Gemini, so we have very short attention spans. But we sat there, we did it. We were like getting into it.
Congratulations! It's a really well produced show.
It's really fun to watch.
Are you getting that kind of feedback on it?
When we're out and about, people are saying like, I really love your show. They sound a little surprised, like they didn't think that they were going to like it. And they're like, it's actually really good. And I think there's a lot of different dynamics in our family that lots of different people could relate to. I know a lot of moms come up to me and like, I feel you. Like, I know how, when you have kids that are struggling with their mental health or, we're new empty nesters and like all of these different things that we're experiencing, they can relate to that. And kind of like, it doesn't matter the following or what you're doing. It's just like when you're home and life is going on, everybody's going through the same thing, different address. So
yeah, I really related to that, like watching what the girls were going through, like emotionally, like they have a lot on their plate, and then I just thought to myself, wow, it's so tough to then have to do that in front of the cameras too. Was that hard, having the cameras there?
We've built a really good relationship with the crew. Like, I think at first we didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And now it's I think they've kind of it's part of it's good, part of it's bad, but they lulled us into this. We feel real comfortable with them. And then we were very cautious on what we said early on. Now we say everything. Yeah. And they've kind of given us, don't worry, we'll cut it. And then they never cut it.
Yeah.
So.
There's a voice off camera that's really probing. I don't know who she is.
Yeah.
But there's
she's the one that realized we had to get
producer.
We had to get some action this season.
Yeah. So are you mad at Dixie right now? Yeah.
Yikes. But it's been this is our 3rd season, so I feel like, it is an odd thing to have cameras in your house. And the first season was COVID and lockdown, so we could only film in our house for the most part. And so, now season 3, we're traveling, we're going all over. And you do get this comfort level, especially when you're out, I feel like, because you're out and you're enjoying yourself, and then you forget that you're mic'd and the camera's following you. So it's been interesting for sure.
Yeah. I saw like a Mama Bear moment come out last night. It was like you were trying to get backstage to Dixie's show, and you were like, "No, I'm asking you what's going on."
Yeah, there was a lot going on that moment. We're on the car ride there. Charlie's there. They're not letting her back to see Dixie, so she's like feeling like she's young and she's like insecure in her own ways, and like, I can't get to my family. My mom and dad are almost here. And so she's like, I don't know why they just not letting me back. I don't know what's going on. And it was an armband thing. And so we get there and I'm already like, what is going on? Like, and everybody's kind of like, yeah. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know what was going on. Like, how can we fix this? Like, what's the solution? And I think that's something Marc says all the time. Like, okay, we have a problem. What's the solution? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to your kids, and Naveen's going through that now with me. Like, she's become like a really great stepmom, and it's just like you just drop everything, and you just like it just becomes first all the time, and you're great about that.
I mean, being a stepmom, it just comes really naturally to me.
We're not married yet, but she calls herself a stepmom.
I love it.
It's weird because you spend all of your adolescence and then teens being self-centered and worrying about, and then you go into college worrying about, and then you go into your career and it's always me, I until you have kids. And then you're like, oh, then it switches on a dime and you don't realize that, oh, now everything's about Dixie, Charley, and obviously Heidi. So.
And it's so nice, isn't it?
It is. It really
it's so nice to just be like, oh, I don't matter.
Yeah.
It's just like a relief.
Yeah, I think the girls, all this happened with our family when Charley was 16, Dixie was 18, and I think there's so much growth in that time of a person's life in general, and then to do it in front of millions of eyes has been wild. And I came across some TikTok account that just showed videos from like 2019 TikTok, and I'm looking at my kids and I'm like, wow, they've grown so much. They just like, I see them from doing that to being, in the boardroom and meetings with CEOs and holding their own. It's like, whoa, this is wild.
And how are you guys navigating this like new life here? Because there's no way you could have. Like, I think their daughters blew up on TikTok in 2020.
Yeah,
this is all so
pretty new.
Yeah.
End of 2019. Okay.
We came out to LA. Charley, the story goes, Charley started to get popular on TikTok, and we saw Vine and we saw all these other things. And I was on social media, so I was like, "What is we didn't know what it meant." And then next thing you know, she had 40,000 followers, and then we goofed around like for 100,000. We bought her a cake that had a TikTok logo on it. We're like, hey, that's funny. And then she hit 500,000, and I was coming to LA on business, and we had a family calendar, and she's like, Charley is funny when, she has a special way about her when she needs me. Like, she's very loving, but when she needs me, I get the dad, and I'm like, Charley, because I know there's an ask. Either it's $20 or it's whatever. And she's like, I saw you're going to LA. And I was like, yeah. And we had just gone to, she was a freshman, but we went to UNLV for a college visit. She knew they have a big dance program. So we had traveled together recently and had a blast. So I was like, you want to come to LA with me? She's like, yeah, can I? And I was like,
she's in school at UNLV at this point?
No, she was in high school.
Looking at it.
Freshman in high school. And then she saw I was going to LA on the calendar. And I was like, and so she wanted to meet different influencers, she went to famous birthdays, but I did everything. Like, I called, I said I wanted to make sure it was legit. I said, you're staying with me. I want to know. She was 15 at the time, 15. So we're in LA. But when she was in Connecticut, she would go into New York with Dixie, and so could navigate. But I'm like,
she's an exceptional dancer already, separate from TikTok, though, right?
Absolutely.
Like were you a dancer? Did it come from you, Marc?
I think a little bit of both. I danced growing up, and in high school I was on a competition dance team, and in my high school, and Marc was a break dancer.
Oh. I was.
He was really good.
Why don't I see that on your TikTok? Do you ever bring it back?
Last time I did a windmill, I separated my shoulder.
Yes, he did do that.
It doesn't. So yeah, and then but you're talking about just navigating as, I mean, there's been a lot of things that I think we've had a lot of issues that we would have never had living in Connecticut. Yeah. But I think if you look at the show and I think when you get to be my age, you don't have as people get set in their ways. They don't have much growth. And as for all the things that some of the negatives, there's been way more positives of cool things that have happened to our family. And I got out of my comfort zone. And although things got, for me, I'm just talking about me personally, not even Dixie and Charley. I've grew, and you don't really find yourself growing that much at
100%. I feel the same exact way. Like when I started to do the internet, I was already like 43, and it was like, you felt weird about it. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it was like, I looked around at people my age and I was like, oh no, I'm growing. I'm doing cool things like that no one else is doing. And it's hard to pass up. It's really nice if you can grasp it and enjoy it. I think why are older people, why are they so stuck in their ways?
I remember when the girls were in probably middle school, and they were Dixie was in middle school and just starting to get on social media. Well, she was always on. She was on because my whole family lives in Louisiana, so I stay in touch with her cousins or whatever. She was on a little bit, and then she started kind of posting a little bit more. And I remember there was a lot of moms that were like, "Oh, I don't want to get involved in that. I don't know." But we always kind of felt like, I want to know what it's about. So, number one, opens the door for conversation. Like, oh, did you see this video on Vine or whatever? Like, we can... Anytime you can get your kid to want to talk to you about anything is a good thing, because sometimes they're just like want to talk to their friends. So I think that was something that we were like, and but mostly for safety and whatever, like see what's going on. So there's some odd ones that came and went, some apps. So it was like, at least we know what it's about. We can have that dialogue with them. So if they're like, oh, I posted something that I probably shouldn't have, then we know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I think it's so great how close you guys are. Like, if I go like a couple days without seeing my kids, I'm like, I get so sad. So it's really nice. I mean, it really hats off to you. Like, I don't know how you do it. Like, it's so much.
There wasn't an option. I just saw. I mean, we have perspective from seeing from people that were on the shows when we were kids, Happy Days, Little House on the Prairie. You know, we see these kids that come to Hollywood and get eaten up. And the ones that seem to be well adjusted, for the most part, have solid families around them. So there was no way I was going to let Charley at 15 pack up and come to LA, and there was no way we were going to separate our family.
Yep.
So, and what I do for a living, being in sales, I could be anywhere. And then COVID happened, and then it was like, all right, do we do that? And then I started to kind of get comfortable being out of my comfort zone and be like, well, I'm not living in Connecticut anymore, but I don't have to. This is like, I never thought, when I was younger, I thought, oh yeah, I'll probably move someday. And then you turn around 20 years later and a lot of people could probably relate that you're in the same place, and then you can't really, you have a career or an office or whatever, and you can't move. So it was really cool. And I think what you see is us going through the ups and downs and a normal family, but always knowing that this place could really mess us up if we let it. So.
And I think too, like, even when there's friction within the family in whatever kind of way, still the girls will say, like, this is, bigger than anything is the family. So I think even when they're frustrated with us or whatever.
What do they get frustrated with you about? Are you too in their business, or?
I'll tell you, I mean, I get both sides, right? I get the dad that was doing well before all this, and they had the kids at Silver Spoon, or we're the parents that are soaking off our kids. And
you get both, huh?
Yeah, you need the same thing. You're like, oh yeah, the Dixie and Charley had everything handed to them. They went to a private school, and all everything's public. And then, or the other one is like the parents are trying to suck off them for clout. And I think all I want to do, if I ever navigate them towards business, it's because I don't want them to, I would never say, hey, you need to do this, but I do look at them and say, look, there's people, as much as fame might not be all it's cracked up to be, what I hear is when people aren't asking for you or not calling your name is the worst thing ever. And I want them to look back. I'm going to have to look them in the eye 20 years from now and say, hey, you took advantage of the opportunities, right? You got enough money in the bank. You got, I'm like, they don't understand that life, that they're going to have kids, and their kids are going to have kids, and that they can do so much with this opportunity. So I think both Heidi and I are constantly balancing out, having to know 20 years from now, we're going to have to look them in the eyes and say, did we navigate this right?
Yeah.
And so part of it is the pushing and like, guys, come on, this is a great opportunity. This is something you do. And then part of it is like me being their defender to say, no, Charley's done. She's not doing this. We're shutting it down for a while. So, and
you come off great in the show. Both of you. You come off as really good parents. Like that one scene where there's a scene where you're just like walking with Charley, and you're not telling her what to do. You're just like being like a great sounding board. And I actually saw that, and I was like, yeah, I got to be more like that. Like I have to like not push my thoughts on them and let them tell me, you know?
Well, it's like that particular thing. It's like if they're not going to, like, they're doing well financially. So if they're not going to take that money and do something they love with it. So, and where she used to go to a dance studio all the time, it makes it more difficult now for her to go into a dance studio and just take a class because people are going to be videoing her, and I took and critiquing her. So
that's the exact scene.
So I was like, dude, just buy a dance studio.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah.
And she's like, and she doesn't realize that she could buy a dance studio if she wanted to, and that's kind of where I try to navigate her to say, like, you Charlie's dance studio, and you go, then you can come and go when you please, and you can have a private room, and you can invite your friends. And I try to paint this picture that basically she started this when she's 15, and now she's 19, and she's an adult by age, but I mean, I wasn't a real adult at 19. So she needs people to kind of say, hey, this is, and show her those options and say, you can do this if you don't, so what? I don't care. Do what you want to do.
I think that's sometimes you were asking where they get frustrated with us about. I think they don't even, well, also he's abnormally like big thinker. Like he thinks so far outside the box. I'm like, wait, we can do that?
That's nice.
I don't know, but let's try. Like he's just always been that way since I met him. And so I think for the girls, and on top of that, they're young, her reaction, like, what? So I think sometimes they look at us like.
What's an example of something that a big idea he had? So
I'll give you an example. Like every company I've ever worked for, if I liked it, I wanted to buy it. And even there were people, if TikTok was going to be shut down, I came out and said, like, look, I don't have $400 billion, probably could go for between $40 and $400 billion. But if they're going to shut it down, and my kids, our family, are supposed to be the first family of TikTok, and why wouldn't we be able to put a group together to buy it, right? That's, yeah. And then people are like, oh, he doesn't have that money, and they start to go deep into it. I'm like, dude, it's not that serious, but you gotta think that way. And if we're going to be a family that's on social media, I want to do it. Everything I do, I want to do, not from a competitive standpoint, just from like a pride standpoint. If you're going to do something, do it well. And like, I was a sales rep for Michelin S, and now Michael Rubin bought it, but I'm a partner in it. I'm on the board. So I ended up taking a company that I was an employee of, and I'm an owner in it now. And that's cool. The mindset I want my kids to have.
Was it scary when the couple times that they were going to shut down TikTok? Did you guys go like, oh no?
No. We look at it as this is all gravy for us. I mean, dude, to have 3-year run to go from obscurity to be known, and like if this shuts down tomorrow, we're still the same people. We still will
amazing
figure this out, and
unbelievable.
And that's real. Like I'm almost like, dude, this, like, you look at parts of your life, Jason, that whether it's college for 4 years or high school and your first job or us in New York City, like that. And I'm not trying to recreate that time we were in New York City. I'm not saying, hey, that's just a piece of time that I hold dear and I love it. And so what? We're on to the next thing. Yeah. And hopefully I have 5 or 6 more of these little 4-year time stamps, these little periods of time that we will do cool stuff. So
does it get sad as they get older?
Not at all. Okay, so
it's more fun.
Anybody who's watched any of my content or any of the shows, they're like, oh, all she does is cry online, blah, blah, blah. I am a very emotional person, but not anymore because the internet has bullied me into being like stone cold.
Naveen, make her
I'm
cry.
not going to be I don't know. Like, okay,
no, in like a nice way. Ask her a question that'll get the tears going.
Yeah. Like, we'll get her crying.
But
Barbara Walters.
But when they started kindergarten, and I'm with my friends and they're all crying, and I'm like, this is a good thing, because when my kids started kindergarten, they were ready. I'm like, now if I'm crying, what is that gonna? Now I'm gonna leave them with some. Like, I don't want to do that. you know? And so all of these milestones, like I was so excited for them. This is you growing up. Like this is a good thing. And then whenever Charley moved out to live with Dixie, which I think that goes on in season 2, I'm so excited. I love moving also. My family, my mom and dad were flipping houses.
Who says that? I've never heard anyone say that.
Moving.
I love moving.
It's a thing. No, but
moving's traumatic.
My mom and dad, that was their hobby. They flipped houses before it was a thing. They moved 19 times in one town in Lafayette, Louisiana.
So it's nothing for you.
That's a lot. So I enjoy moving and the new things and, ooh, where are we going to put this? And Charley and Marc are like, ugh. He's like, you don't have to go, just stay. I'm like, oh no, we're packing up, we're doing, and they're like so shocked that because I cry at everything, and I'm like, this is a good thing. This was such a milestone. And I kept telling Charley, you're not gonna believe how much you're gonna love this. Like you don't know because you're not there yet. The independence, your own space, and she was very free to have. Like she had her own part in our house, like. Wouldn't even see her for days sometimes. She had her own exit and all that. But it's different when it's your own space, even though she's sharing it with Dixie. And so it took her about 2 weeks and she was like, I love living on my own. I was like, I told you. So those are things that, you wouldn't think that I would. You think I would be sad about it.
You sound a lot like Naveen.
I'm
actually.
like,
She's like that.
When she was saying that, I was like, I feel that I've never gone through that yet. But I feel I would, because you have to be like so excited for them because it's their first time experiencing it. Why down it by being sad and making it about you?
My son wanted to he wants to go to school in New York City. And so we were like in the car one day and I was like, you don't want to go to New York. It's rats. It's terrible after COVID. I mean, so I've heard, whatever. I'm just making stuff up. And then she's like, oh my God, no, New York is amazing.
Or think bigger, Paris. Let's go to Paris, live your life. And he's like, yeah.
And I was like, shut up.
And Jason's like, what, UCLA? Sounds really good.
I took him to UCLA and drove him through to be like, this is UCLA. And he was like, oh, okay.
I struggled with early on, like I thought, to your point, like I thought she was going to be the one that was struggling. But I think what we were talking about earlier, that you go through your teens and early part of your 20s being selfish, and then you forget that. And now all it's about is your family. And it took me, once they moved out, I think one of the things you see in the show is Heidi and I having some issues while she was doing Dancing with the Stars, right. and everyone thinks it was something more than it was. It was basically her kind of saying to herself, like, "Hey, I now am back to focusing on Heidi," and I was sitting there going, "Wait, I'm not ready to focus on Marc. I still want to focus on you guys." And and now a year later, I'm sitting there going, "Wow, I'm back to being able to look at hobbies and things that I'm interested in, and that's what's cool about it." And now you have it where I'm doing fun stuff, like I'm working with a bike shop and I'm building a new bike, and Dixie is like, "Dad, can I come with you?" So, but now I'm focusing on things on my own. And I think Heidi kind of led that way with like, "Hey, well, the girls are out of the house." And I was like, "I want them back." And she was like, I always she wanted to be a model. She wanted to do all this. And now, so I think to answer your question, she was a little bit sad. I was very sad for probably selfish reasons. Yeah. And now I think we're both come to terms with it. And now we're like, emptiness. All right.
It took us a minute to settle into like prioritizing ourselves individually, which I think we weren't doing. Like we always he always worked from home. So we're always together, which I love. My mom and dad, my dad was in sales. He worked from home. So I knew that. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and that's what we happened to be, coincidentally. And so so we were always together. We were always doing fun things, but we were almost just like, it was so easy. And then now we're doing like kind of separate things, and it was hard to adjust, but then now it's like, wait, I haven't seen you all day. What are you doing? Like you get that little that fun love anxiety, oh, this is cool. I missed you all day. Like when you're together 24/7, you don't miss that person. So that's been something new and different. So
We're together 24/7.
yeah, I love it.
And I've never had a relationship like that.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never wanted to be with someone that long. But I feel like our personalities are just like so complementary that like
We're the same person too. Are you guys opposites?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are opposites. And how so?
I am. I'm fly by the seat of my pants. Everything will work out. I'm willing to take a gamble. Heidi's very methodical.
Very routine.
But I'm also OCD, and I like things. It's funny because files, closet, everything of mine is like immaculate.
Oh, yeah.
And Heidi is a little
So not fly by the seat of your pants.
Heidi's a little bit of a pack rat. So,
Allegedly.
Dig.
no, actually.
But I also love to organize. I just don't have time all the time.
Are your closets organized because she organizes them, or do
No,
you do
I
it?
don't touch his
Oh,
closet.
you don't touch his stuff.
I don't allow him in my closet because he's judgy.
Did you see the Beckham show yet?
Yeah, we've been watching it.
Yeah.
Did you see his closet? Did you get to that
I don't
part?
think we got that far.
Episode 4.
That's his closet. When you see it, that's his
Actually, I
closet.
did see a shot of his closet. It
Did
was
you?
immaculate.
Like he was like, oh, someone's been in here because the hangers weren't spaced properly.
Really?
Yeah.
That's this man.
I'd love to be like that.
All his hangers
It
are the
happened
exact
later
same.
on in I think I guess I was always a little bit like that, but not like OCD washing your hands or tapping your face 10 times, things like that. But definitely I procrastinate and I have to have like to do something. Sometimes I need everything to be perfect before I go check my emails. I'll go through make sure my desk is straight, and it's kind of weird.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I do all the get all the laundry done, make the beds, do everything before I pack to go on a trip. Like it could be 9:00 at night. Like I remember sometimes you would go to bed and I had to pack. I would like make the bed except for the part was in it. Like
That's
everything
really
had to
funny.
be and folded. The clothes had to be folded and put away or hung
So you're both this way.
before I could pack.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was a thing. I don't know.
Do you get travel anxiety? We have to fly tomorrow, and I have anxiety.
I love it. I fall asleep
it?
the second I get on. I'm good.
Yeah, I don't.
Really?
It doesn't bother me.
We're always traveling.
Good thing because we've been traveling a lot.
We're going to Bentonville, Arkansas tomorrow.
We're going to Alabama tomorrow.
Really?
Where are you going to Arkansas? The shoes?
Snack company with them.
D'Amelio's. What kind of snack? I'm
Wait,
big,
when does this air?
I'm big on snacks. Can you talk about
It's getting
D'Amelio's?
launched on what?
I read that you're doing a snack company,
Yeah.
so I don't think it's. Can you talk about the snacks? Because I'm very into snacks.
We
Yeah,
love
I
a
mean,
snack.
we wanted to do I wanted to do products that the whole family could do. So footwear was definitely something that Dixie, Charley, and Heidi could both do. I remember as recently, like they would always borrow each other's shoes, so that seemed like it was really cool, and that they can do something together, and it's worked out really well. And then on the snack thing, we knew we wanted to do something that we could market to the people that follow us, and something that wasn't as expensive as a $120 pair of shoes. And so we started.
You have anything in the keto range? Any keto crunch or anything like that, or is it raisins,
He's like, are you guys
walnuts?
taking requests? Because he has a list of things he would love.
I'm trying to remember on the bag. I'm not keto, so I don't
Nuts?
like,
Anything
pay
with
attention.
nuts?
We are going to do it.
It's coming.
Going to do a trail mix. Yeah.
What are the names? What are the names of these things? Can you talk about
Yes.
it? Okay, please.
I don't care. We can say it. So it's called Be Happy Snacks.
Okay.
So it's kind of like Dixie's.
Oh, yeah,
song,
like the
Be
song.
Happy, and we have.
But the individual snacks, do you have cool names for
Yes,
them?
we do.
Okay, go.
We have one which is really cool. One that's they were trying to do a Cajun variety.
Love it.
And Heidi did not think it was true Cajun because she's from Louisiana, so it's
Yeah.
just a spicy.
Shelved it for now.
So
Yeah.
we called it Nice Spice.
Oh, that's good.
So
Good name.
Very trendy right now with
trendy,
ice
yeah.
spice. Yes.
and then the other ones we have a cotton candy flavor, which isn't the name's not great, but the product is phenomenal and it tastes awesome. So.
Okay. All right. Today's podcast is brought to you by SeatGeek. Yes, the one and only SeatGeek, the sponsor that's been with me since the very beginning, since the very first episode here with Dave Portnoy. What is SeatGeek? SeatGeek is a ticketing app, a place where you can buy and sell tickets. I don't sell tickets on there, but I do buy them on there, and it is a marvelous app bringing you great live performances, be it sports, be it concerts, be it theater. I've seen Hamilton through SeatGeek. I've seen 21 Pilots. I've seen Tyler, the Creator. You guys know I love SeatGeek, and they love me, and they've been so freaking good to me. Please go support them, especially with the holidays coming up. Get your sister some tickets. Get your uncle some tickets, some basketball tickets, anything. You can find it all on SeatGeek, and you will not be disappointed. The tickets come right to your phone. You just go right through and, you show your phone, you go right in. Even for an older feller like myself, I am always amazed. I'm like, unreal. And also right now, if you download the SeatGeek app and use my code NASH, N-A-S-H, you're going to get $20 off your first order. Go, my friends. Please go check out SeatGeek and go support them in any way you can. Use code NASH. All right, guys, back to the podcast. And my thanks to SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode. There was a really great moment. Charley came and surprised my Charley.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that video.
For a video for David. And it was like, I was like dad of the year. Like, it was just the coolest.
Aww.
It was just the coolest. Just to be able to pull it off, I was just like, David, is there any way? And I was like bothering him about it. And he was like, well, yeah. He's like, but I'm not just going to do some heartfelt surprise. Like, there's got to be something edgy about it, And he was like, you're going to have to get shot with a paintball gun or something. And I was like, the bet was, I know what it was. My kids give bad reactions. That's what it was. We've surprised my kids before, and they're just kind of like, oh. And so that's what it was. It was, if my Charley reacts poorly, I get shot with a paintball gun. That's what it was. If she's not surprised. And of course, Nash was so surprised, and David had to shoot himself.
Oh, that's really fun.
Were you guys here for that?
No,
we
saw the video.
You saw it.
And as you were emotional when you saw your daughter, and we watched it, and we were emotional. I just thought it was the sweetest thing.
That was so cool.
Wait, so when we're driving up, as you saw, I was still on the phone with Charley, and she was like, what are you guys doing? I was like, actually, we just got to Jason Nash's house. We're doing their podcast. She was like, I just was watching the video of me and his daughter. She said,
That's
I
so
just watched
funny.
it last
Cute.
night. I was like, wait, that's so
funny.
cute.
And she's in high school now, and she's all grown up. And
wild.
And it's funny because we didn't know, but Charley would play this game. Remember, what was the game she'd play? Tell.
Oh, so it was, they were little. They'd be like, okay, you have to guess. Is it YouTuber, Instagrammer, or Viner? And they would like just say a name. I'm like, and so it was like luck of the draw.
They would probably say, and they knew of David Dobrik.
Yeah, they were like,
next thing you know, they're at his, like a couple years later, they're at his house filming.
Yeah,
videos.
I remember when they came and did Views. They did our podcast. And that was really cool.
And they were super nervous at that.
And they looked nervous to meet him, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Videos, and now we're gonna be. They were freaking out, but they're like shy girls. So when they're like around, they're like. So I don't know how that comes off, but
and some of the people we've met that like we're, oh my God, I can't believe, like random people, but that you and I would be like, oh my God, Charley has no idea who they are. And then she's sitting there going like, I can't believe I met and I'm like, wait, what?
So we all went to Dancing with the Stars last week. The new season's on, and Greg Brady from the Brady Bunch is on, and we are so excited. And coincidentally, Charley's like, I love Barry. And I'm like, yeah, Greg from the Brady Bunch. She's like, what's that? I'm like, you have no concept of who he is.
Oh, did you see the other video she just did where she didn't know who Ben Affleck was?
Oh my God,
with Dixie.
The new Dunkin' Donuts
We saw
commercial.
the new ad with
And
Ice Spice.
so they were on a lie detector test. Dixie,
Yeah.
And Dixie's asking Charley questions, and Charley's hooked up, and she was like, do you think your videos for Dunkin' Donuts are better than your flavor's better? And she was like, absolutely. I'm an OG. She was like, she said, I saw the video. Who was that or something? And Dixie's like, are you being serious right now? She was like, I don't recognize people.
But Charley took that drink from Dixie. That's what we learned in the show last night.
Claims. I don't know.
But it's always that way with the older person.
That's all they talk about.
I stole everything from my sister.
Charley denies it, but Dixie would drive them to Dunkin' Donuts on the way to school every morning. That was Dixie's drink, and then all of a sudden it became Charley's drink, and then that went crazy. So there's holes in both stories, so I'm not sure.
Is it tough having one be more famous than the other?
No, because like they humble each other.
They do.
So
right?
we don't. No, but like this is something where, like,
what I just said is ridiculous. One has 100 million followers, and the other has 60 million.
What? It was
right?
like we did say like imagine your younger sister becomes famous, and like Dixie could have just crawled up in a ball and been like, and she was like, well, I'm gonna take advantage of this stuff, and she has no shame in the fact that, look, we're not in the situation we're in. We're in a great situation prior to this, but we're not in the situation we're in without Charley doing all this. But Dixie did a great job, and in a lot of circles with her music, with a lot of things, and because she's a little older, Dixie. There's so many times I'm out and people don't know who Charley is, but they'll be, oh my God, Dixie. Yeah. So she's done that's all her. She's done a great job taking advantage of the opportunity and not just being like, I'm Charley's sister and my little sister's famous, and so
she has done a great job.
She also was, she's like, whatever. For the first 15 years of your life, you lived in my shadow. Dixie says that. So I'll give you this one.
That's funny.
But yeah.
And now Heidi's getting, for the first time, I'm still, are you the dad? That's my thing. They don't even know my name. They're like, are you the dad? Now we get, Heidi, I loved you on Dancing with the Stars. So I love that. That's really cool.
Tell us about that. That was so cool.
Oh my gosh. That was.
You went far, didn't you?
I made it 8 out of the 10 weeks.
That's insane.
I know.
That's really cool.
I know. I still can't believe it. But it was.
Are you just like in sick shape when you're doing that?
Yes.
Like the best shape you could be in, right?
I was very lean, but I love lifting weights. I lift heavy, so I wasn't able to do that just because I was so busy.
Yeah.
So I missed that part of it. But if I could have added that to the mix, that would have been like the sickest shape I probably would have ever been in. But it was exciting. It was nerve-wracking. It was emotional. It was hard on the body. It was wild. And, it's...
And you don't get to see your family other than Charley? Did they lock you away?
No.
You go home at night.
It's here. Like the studio is here.
Okay. It's not like a reality show.
But it's like, I would be out of the house sometimes 10 hours a day between interviews, rehearsals, everything, fittings. It was so much. So it was Charley and I a lot of the time were together. So that sucked because our family had never been like separated like that before in that kind of way. And not only like when you're home, like I'm practicing at home or listening to the music or just trying to wrap my head around the whole day, and then you have interviews and all of the things. So it's all of that, but then it's like I'm competitive and I wanted to win and do the best that I could. And you're in the live studio audience. It's live. You're literally getting judged. Talk about being judged. Yeah. Getting judged and then talking live to the cameras, and there's millions of people. It's a mind crazy thing. Yeah.
And we were in a situation where since we've been married, we were inseparable. And then you pull the kids. Now the kids aren't home. I'm in a new place in California by myself, with not like Greg, who works for us, would say, dude, you're a different person in New York or Connecticut than you are out here. So, and every week you can't plan your week because you can't say, hey, let's go away next weekend, because if she makes it through the next round, and she made it 8 weeks. So it was, hindsight being 2020 now, I'm like, dude, you probably overreacted and probably just sort of chalked it up. You're not going to see your wife for 10 weeks and kept it moving. But during the time
I think that's sweet.
Yeah.
That's really
And I've talked with a lot of significant others who's like, and it wasn't about the dancing with a partner or any jealousy stuff like that. It was more about just the time of not having me being like, a little selfish and a little self-centered and want your wife to be, and I wasn't the focus of
in the kitchen cooking.
Also, I had, but up until like generally that time, I was a stay-at-home mom, and then like we moved all here together, and we were so it's not like I had a career where I was like, okay, I'm going, I'm going to be out all day, or like I'm going on a work trip or whatever. It wasn't like that for us, happily. Like I much rather my role as being a stay-at-home mom, and so it was very, very different for our family, and it was hard to adjust. So that was crazy, but it was so much fun. I'm so glad I got to do it with Charley. I don't know how I would have done without her there, because I mean, everybody that's in the show, we can relate to each other, but it was still, they had a lot of COVID restrictions. So we couldn't really hang out too much with the other people.
Right.
A little bit, there was a common area, but, you know, we had to distance and all that. And so, you know, Charlie and I would sneak into each other's rehearsal spaces and we're like, let me see your dance. Let me see your dance. So that was cool that we got to do that. But to get in the car, we had to ride there to rehearsal or home together a lot. And to have those conversations where you just defeated because you just can't remember or your feet are hurting or whatever.
That's what would kill me.
It was nice to have really somebody that you're so close to that can relate.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm right with you. So,
and it's such a cool fraternity. Like, I ended up getting close with all the like Mark Ballas and Gleb and all these guys, and we just went back. Heidi was back last night, but I went back last week, and it's people that were like 4 or 5 seasons ago come back. It's a pretty wild experience. Me and Dixie. Well, I tried to get Dixie to do it with me. They wanted Dixie. They didn't want me yet, but down the road,
you would do it.
No.
Yes.
I'm glad. No.
I'm going to answer.
Hang on. Let's get a TikTok clip
I
here.
want to get asked.
Mark, I'll ask you, will you be on Dancing with the Stars? I know Derek Huff, he sat in that seat. So I can make a call.
If I were asked, I would take it very seriously. But it is a huge commitment, and I have a lot of...
Should do it.
I'm in the office 8 hours a day at least, and...
Oh, no, never mind. You shouldn't do it.
But if Dixie was...
You got the brands.
If Dixie wanted to do it, I think that would be a great experience for us, and then we'd all be in the fraternity.
Yeah, that would be
But I also feel like you're like, oh, you have so much work stuff. Yes, I get that. We have a big team that could probably handle it because you're always going to be able to go to the office and do that. And for me, it was something so different and so hard and a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like, I have that forever, and I want you to have it too.
And how amazing it must have felt when Charlie won.
Oh my gosh.
Like, that's
so
insane.
Cool. That last day,
amazing.
the finale day, we were there because the whole cast danced in the finale, and so I'm watching camera blocking, and actually I'm not watching. I'm kind of sitting back. I'm like, I'm gonna wait. I want to see it in costume tonight. I don't want to look. So I'm facing this way, and all the pros are standing right here, and they're watching her, and they're like doing all this, and they're crying. This was in just camera blocking, no costume. And I was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And they were like, I've never seen anything like that on any level. And I was like, they were just so sweet and so supportive. They were like, that was absolutely incredible.
And we knew she was incredible. Like, out of the womb, she was a great dancer.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, we've been here since she was 15. I've been to a lot of recitals. Heidi had been to a bunch. But, you know, it's kind of cute stuff. And then when she was like 14, she started really being competitive. And then, for the most part, she stopped from 15. And then we were sitting there in the audience at Dancing with the Stars, and she came out and flipped her phone. And that was like...
This first episode. Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah. She's really good. I forgot. That's my kid, and she's really good. And then Carrie Ann was like, oh, I see why. And it was cool because she got a lot of people were saying, like, what does Charlie do? She's just a TikTok dancer. She's not a real dancer. She's not a real dancer. And then it flipped. Then everybody was like, it's not fair. She's a professional dancer. And she killed it. And I was like, that was one of the, I've been proud of my kids many times, but I was like, oh, not only is she really good, she wants to win this thing. And she came out, flipped the phone.
Fire in her eye.
What do you mean she flipped the phone?
So they did this thing where she was kind of in this set area, and she was like, kind of like TikTok-y thing. She was texting, talking on the phone, and then the music came on. She kind of just strutted out, flipped her phone out, and went to Mark, and they started dancing. I was like, wow.
Damn.
And Dixie was so funny because every taping, after she was like, I can't handle this. This is too stressful. This is too much for me. I'm like, you were sitting. Like, we're literally. She's like, this is too emotional.
So it's very stressful to be in the,
watch.
In the audience when your wife
family
and daughter in it.
It was cute. She was cute.
Do you guys, did you ever watch The Kardashians?
Yeah.
The TV show? And do you take anything from them?
I remember early on watching, and I remember talking with my sister-in-law, Mark's sister, who I'm tight with. She's like my best friend. I remember us talking about, how tight they are as sisters, and like, you have your own like language sometimes with your siblings. My sisters are a lot older than I am, so I was kind of raised like an only child. We got close once, like I was older. And then it's just her and Mark. So we've talked about that, like how we felt tight, and sometimes like we could have a whole conversation without saying a word, and just like how they had that, and now they're being filmed. Like when it first came out, that was like a huge thing to be, these reality thing. It was still like on the newer side. So I remember like, how are people in their house filming? That is so weird. And then fast forward, here we are. But, I think we take a lot from the business side, and like, I don't know. We've gotten to know them, and they've been nothing but nice and sweet to our family and the girls especially. And so I mean, I have nothing.
Oh, we really liked Landon in the show.
Oh, he's fun.
We thought he was great.
Really sweet. Yeah.
He said he went to vegan school, and then they cut on him, and I was like, I want to know more about vegan school.
Yeah.
What is vegan school?
We were laughing when I'm like, crying. And I knew, I was like, oh, we have a new character in our show. This kid is going to be obviously he's got the name and everyone knows who he is, but he's really funny, and he has no idea. Like, he's not even trying to be funny. He's just kind of, and we're like, you got kicked out of a vegan school. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
He's funny. So
he's a trip. Dixie said the other day, she goes, I wish I could do what Landon's doing. Like, he's like a side character in our show, and like, he's funny. He just gets to be funny, come in and out. Like, that's the role I want. I'm like, okay, yeah, but you're the family, so you have to be a main character. She's like, yeah, I know.
Unfortunately, she's the flames in the show. Yeah, she's the gas.
Yeah.
It makes everything go.
He's a good kid.
Yeah, well, we really liked it. We watched it all last night, and I mean that. Like, I'm actually, we're stuck on 6. We don't know why Dixie's mad at you. Still.
Oh yeah, we're still trying to
It
figure
hasn't
it
come
out.
out yet. Is it tonight?
Tonight, yeah.
Oh, we have something to do.
What did you do?
you'll see.
Isn't that? It's so weird, because I know you outside of this, and to sit here and then ask you, like, one time I was working I worked at Saturday Night Live when I was like right out of college, and I walked up to like Tim Meadows, who I knew, and I just said something like, "Oh, you're having a baby," like that, and he was like, "How do you know that?" And I was like, "Oh, I read it in the paper," like, and I was like, he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh." And it was like an awkward thing, and so it's always awkward to sit. Though it's really awkward for me to sit here
something about
to
Why
know
is Dixie mad
something
at you?
about you and your daughter.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
And then,
funny.
but still, I'm sitting here like, oh, I wonder what she's mad at.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
You know?
I feel like I sometimes people come up to us and they're like, we'll talk about our dogs. They're like, I love when Callie and Cody, and I'm like, oh yeah. And then I like, there is a moment where I'm like,
That's
wait,
funny.
I don't even know you.
Yeah.
You know about my dogs. That's
Right.
incredible. Like, thank you so much for supporting. Like, you don't have to do that, and you take the time to do that. That means a lot. So
We're definitely getting more people coming up to us this season. We haven't been going out that much, but we went to Landon's birthday party the other night, and a bunch of kids came up to us and were like talking about the show. So that was cool.
Good. Well, I think it's really good. I think I wish you 20 seasons with it. Would you go 20 seasons?
We've decided after.
Why are you making a face?
So the first season, I was kind of saying, "Hey, if we're going to do this, and people are going to have preconceived notions about us, let's put everything out there and let's do a show."
Yeah.
And after season 1, I made a point to say I'll only do the show if Dixie and Charley want to do the show. It's their like, we're part of it, but they're the focal point. And if I would never say, come on, we got to do the show for mom and dad. If they want to do it, I'd do as many seasons as they want. It's for me. It's just, I mean, it's fun. I enjoy it.
Do they like it?
I think so.
yeah, like they have their moments.
Because they have so much that they do.
They do a lot of different things, and it does take up time. I mean, a lot of it is just they're filming what we're doing anyway, but like the interviews and stuff like that. And, they have moments where they don't, it's exhausting to be emotional sometimes. And there's like emotional questions, and sometimes they just like don't want to be in that headspace.
And we got to rehash stuff a lot. So like what you're seeing right now is like, imagine if you guys got in an argument and
Just kidding.
if you do,
No, we don't.
and then you got to rehash it. It was almost like again, I hate keep going back to another show, but when the Beckham show, when all these feelings started to come back out, like it's almost the positives are fun because you get to look back and go, oh my God, remember Charlie's birthday party? That was such a good time, or the great times we had in Japan. But when it is negative, and then you got to talk about it again.
Rehash what happened last Tuesday.
Yeah,
That's painful.
That gets kind of tough.
Well, it's entertainment. And it's fun to watch. So, well, this has been fun.
Thanks for having us.
Jason.
Yeah,
This is so fun.
you guys are awesome. Thank you for coming. Anything we should look for besides the snacks?
When this comes out, hopefully you'll have watched episode 7 and 8. You're going to find out a lot. You're going to see me being Mama Bear.
Great.
Love
We
that.
love that.
And so, yeah, I'm getting a lot of hate on the internet for that. But
We don't read that stuff. Do you read it?
I read a few and I got scared and I just turned off.
Yeah,
I
you
closed
shouldn't
the
read
app.
it.
I don't usually. I've come a long way. I used to, but I usually don't. But I also don't want to be like oblivious. Like I do want to see reactions and be.
But is it
thoughtful
really
of that.
is it really a good test of a reaction if you read like a good comment, a bad comment, a good comment, a
It
bad
depends.
comment?
I feel like you, like, or not you, but people will, like, there'll be like 400 amazing comments and that one bad comment, you can't let that one bring you down. Like, I feel like I focus more on, like,
The
all
good
these
comments?
people said these really nice things. The bad one, it's like,
Yeah.
It's never felt real to me in any way. In like any of it,
Right.
You know, like any kind of comment. Maybe because I did stand up, and I was like, and then you know if something is good. But even with YouTube, it's like I don't know if this was good.
Yeah.
Even if people say it is.
I knew I was going to get backlash just because the kid that I was being Mama Bear about was very well liked. So, I think other moms will get it. I talked to him. He was like, my mom would have done the same thing. So we're good.
Oh, so something coming up in the show.
Yeah, but when this airs, it'll
You
be
go-
last week. Yeah.
You go,
So you
Mama
can say
Bear.
Oh, so yeah.
Okay, don't tell us, but
You'll have to watch
we'll
it.
have to watch. We'll
Go
see it
watch it.
tonight.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming. This
Thanks
was really
for
fun.
having us.
guys.
This
All
was
right.
fun.
All right. We'll see you next time. Go watch the D'Amelio show on Hulu and go check out these guys on TikTok and Instagram, and we'll link everything below. All right. Bye, guys.